I'm going to do another gel polish marble. This one I'm going to do with a coloured background, a solid coloured background. So I've got just like a nudie coloured background. And again, you want to, sorry, my dog's just been a pain in the backside. You want to have a wet base, a wet coat. So that is cured. I've cured that coloured coat. So now I need a wet coat. So, wherever it's gone. What I'm going to do is use blooming gel. My dog is currently sat on the chair where my clients sit. She's been an absolute pain in the backside today. So I've put a coat of blooming gel on there. You can use just a plain base coat. Doesn't have to be blooming gel. Base coat's absolutely fine. Does pretty much the same thing when it comes to marble. So I've picked up a few colours on my brush, if you can see there. I've got a few different colours. And I'm just going to do the same thing that I did before. Really sort of shaky, sporadic movements. Sort of like shaking the colour off your brush. And that will give you that sort of effect. Now I'm going to wait a few seconds. I'm not going to fill in the gaps on the outside. I'm going to wait a few seconds. And I'm going to wait for this colour to bleed into where I've put this wet coat underneath. It'll bleed outwards. And it'll give a really sort of blurred... I don't know if you can... Let me see if I can put the flash on so you can see how it's better. It'll give sort... You see how it's like giving like a blurred effect around the outside? Rather than it being like a harsh line. To help it along, if you want to blur it a little bit more... Get your ombre brush and just gently, you're sort of like tickling those outside lines. See how that's given like a blurred effect around the outside rather than it being solid? And that will then go into the lamp. So that's a gel polish marble with a solid colour background, and then using a base coat or a blooming gel or something on top, obviously clear, on top to put your marble into. Whatever you're putting your marble into, whether it's a clear layer on top of a colour or whether it's into the colour, it always needs to be wet. Does your layer that you're putting your marble into always needs to be wet, because it flows better and it gives it that sort of... Sorry, the camera's not very good at focusing. Yeah, it gives it that sort of blurred effect. Of sort of, it just flows really nice into that wet coat. If you do it onto a dry coat and you try to marble your colours on top of a dry coat, I don't know how to explain it, but it doesn't flow. It'll just sort of sit there on the colour and it sort of drags, your brush will drag along the dry coat and it won't give you the right sort of marble effect. It'll give you more sort of, I guess, like a tie-dye effect sort of thing. I'll do sort of a gemstone one next. So for a gemstone, obviously, if you look at any gemstone, so if it's like an emerald or like a rose quartz or amethyst, anything like that, they're sort of made up of layers. So if you've got like a glass gel or a jelly gel collection, you know, that's transparent. They're perfect for doing your gemstones. If not, a good trick, I've just put some clear down there. I'm going to do sort of like an emerald, so this is just like a darkish green. Get clear and mix a small amount of colour in with it, and that'll give you like your transparent colour. So it's basically, you know, colour that you can see through. What you want to do with your gemstone, I'm going to do, first of all, I'm going to do a solid, so I'm doing like a green gemstone, I've picked green, so I'm going to do a layer of the solid green first underneath. And then you'll build up your layers with the more transparent colour. And if you look at a gemstone, there's always like, it tends to be white, but some do have other colours sort of marbled through them. Most of them are white though. So you want to marble your white on in between each layer and then put your transparent colour over, and then you'll be able to see, you'll have your colour, you'll have your layers of colour built up, but then you'll be able to see your white marble in between. So what I'm going to do, first of all, I'm going to pick up some white and you just want really sort of thin. Again, shake your hand as you're putting it on, because it gives that marbled effect rather than it being like straight lines. And I've literally just marbled some white lines on there. Cure that. Just get some more white. Then I'm going to go back over with the green, but I'm going to use the green that I've mixed with the clear. Cure that. I'm not curing for the full length in between, just so that I can show you without having to wait 10 million years for everything to dry. I'm then going to do the same thing again, but I'm going to go different directions to what I've already put on. See, I've just put those lines on there. What you can do as well is get a clear. Some lines you want to be a bit more solid than others. So the lines that you want to be a bit more sort of marbled and not sort of a solid line, get your clear and just go along the edge of the white lines you've just put on with like a clear base coat. What that'll do is it'll make the white sort of spread a little bit and give more of a marbled effect. Again, cure that. And again, I'm going to go back over with the green that I've mixed with the clear again. What this does is give the illusion that it's like layered, like it's almost like the green will appear as one solid colour, but then you can see the white lines are sort of layered. Some obviously look like they're really deep down into that green, and then others will sit on top. I'm going to leave that wet, and I'm then going to, with some more sort of solid lines, I'm going to go along and I'm going to just follow where I've put my lines in the layer underneath. And I'm not going to marble these out or anything, because they'll spread out in that green because I've left it wet. These sort of like highlight, these lines will highlight because they will appear more white obviously than the other ones underneath. And but you see how they like highlight the ones that I've put underneath. Cure that. You can obviously put your lines wherever you want them, do as many layers as you want. You could use different colours to do your lines rather than just white. There's loads of things you can do depending on what look you want, depending on what gemstone you're doing. Have a look at pictures of gemstones on Google and pick one to do and look at what colours are running through it. I mean, rose quartz is a really easy one. You want a nice pink or beige mixed with a clear base coat to get that really nice transparent sort of rosy pink colour, and then your lines are white. But the rose quartz is a really nice easy one to do. So I don't know if you can see that properly. Let me try and focus. You can see the white lines sort of underneath that run underneath it, and then the ones on top. So that's a really easy way of doing a gemstone nail. Really easy.